Oh no, there's an echo. Now there's not. So let's get right to it, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions live from our houses. There's got to be a better way to say that. I'm your host, Dallas, and this week we are painting our Ebony Maw. We hope you're staying safe and painting along with us at home. Like, share, and do all that kind of other fun stuff. Before we get started, I finally have permission from Josh. We are announcing our Instagram challenge, the Crisis Protocol Painting Challenge. We've talked about this a little bit here, there, and everywhere, but we finally got some details. So what this is it's a painting challenge. So we're going to kind of issue a challenge out, and you're going to paint and share with them on Instagram, share with us on Instagram, using the hashtag painting protocol, one word. Josh, is the protocol capitalized? Is it painting big P protocol? I don't know. Hashtag painting protocol. Share them on Instagram, and then we're gonna like look at them and kind of choose like some that we really like and feature them in different ways. This guy's right in my face. Feature them in different ways. A lot of fun stuff. So that being said, our first one is the punched up color. All right, so we want to see some of your work that is really punchy, really saturated, and you're gonna use the hashtag painting protocol. You're gonna share it to our Instagram. It's Instagram only. It's nowhere else. If it goes anywhere else, we're not gonna pay attention to it. If it goes to Instagram, we will pay attention to it. I see Chris has already accepted my challenge. Bring it. And I'm just gonna do it. So I've already painted a Ebony Maw, and we have an Ebony Maw here. So we're gonna punch him up. We're gonna pick some colors, and we're just gonna make it super, super punchy. So throw me some ideas in the Twitch chat for what colors you want to see as I get started. I'm gonna do a wash on his face, and that way it gives you guys time to like throw some ideas. I'm guessing purples, yeah, reds, yellows. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So let's just dive right in and get to painting, as I am wont to say. What's the button here? This one? Oh my gosh. Helps if you plug cameras in. Boom! Look at that. So there's our Ebony Maw. Let's do this. Black and gold. That's not punchy. I'm liking this. I'm seeing some 80s sitcom intro colors. That's great from CT Samurai X. Ebony Maw in his best Daytona Beach hot pink. Yeah, we can go. I kind of like this. I kind of like this fuchsia and teals. Like, why not? I don't think this is like completely opposite of what Schick and Josh and I were actually discussing earlier before we even. When we were talking about today's stream and getting ready for it. So let's just punch up some of these colors. Let's see if we can make a retro-y. Let's just go retro-y. I need some teals. I need some bright teals. So I got a wet palette out. Got a paint that's not even open yet, so I need to poke a hole in it. That's cool. Let's just open that. This is like Innsmouth Blue from Scale 75. We're going to put a little bit of that out. So we're just doing some saturation. So let's just go. I'm just going to make this up as I go. I have no plan. I don't even have a water cup. I'm all over the place today. I'm out of control. Let's just get to it going. So I already got a base coat or a Zenith Prime on this guy. So let's just work on this. So I'm going to just put some blue teals in here and just get going. So how's everybody been doing? hopefully you're painting and getting lots of stuff painted. Schick showed some cool stuff on Tuesday. It was very exciting. Super excited for our Hawkeye and Agent Widow. So very excited. I think I got the wrong side brush. I'm just gonna work this in. I literally did grab the wrong side of the brush. I think I'm gonna do this the pinks and the magentas there. So let's just get some of this teal in here. This is pretty thin. I just thinned this down a little bit with water. And I'm letting a little bit. I'm gonna grab a smaller brush. I want a smaller brush. I want a little bit of that white to kind of shine through because I got that zenithal prime on there. It gives me a little bit of that pre-made shade. Yeah, I hopefully, can y'all hear that? Like my neighbors moved out recently and they are renovating the apartment next door to me. And it was actually quiet all morning and it literally just started back up about 10-15 minutes ago. They're tearing up the floor and putting in the hardwood. So if y'all can hear that, that's sorry. Fabu Pandu, as a quick question, for sticking your model, use anything specific? I've used poster tack to keep the model held while priming. For priming, I typically when I prime on my base, so the miniature is attached. I usually use double-sided tape, like a double-sided foam tape, like you can see here actually. You see double-sided foam tape. It's just attached to whatever I'm using to hold the miniature for painting purposes. And then this is a microphone stand that I use to keep me on camera because I have a problem with not staying on camera because I have a problem with that. Because it's actually very, very difficult to stay on camera. What color have you seen a lot of models painted in recently? Am I doing something wrong that you don't like? Who said that? I saw that. Starlord 615. I think let's do the pants pink. Yeah, let's just do his whole frock. I said I was going to do his face, and I went straight in and just started doing him. Like, what the heck? Why not? So I went like a nice thin paint, and this glaze and this wash, and kind of letting the black and white zenith prime do its job for me. Yeah, the new camera position there, Spectre, is very, very, very good. I just had to play. This is actually a pop filter that I put in front so you can't see my screen. Dun dun dun. Oh yeah, absolutely, Starlord. My favorite color is done. Like, knock them up, knock them out, get to the next miniature, get them on the table. That's what I'm about. So what do you think, black pants or do you want black pants to contrast nicely with the other colors? I'm going to use a little bit of gray while we're thinking about that. I'm going to mix a little bit of medium into my gray. I'm going to wash his face. Just a little tiny bit of medium, just to thin it down a bit. Yeah, my favorite color is done. I mean, that said, I mean, I do paint sometimes to like a pretty high level. I still do that occasionally. And I do enjoy like the process of like really taking my time and building in a lot of layers and a lot of um, subtlety and just working on a miniature and just spending. I think the most time I've ever spent on a single miniature is probably pushing. Let me think here. Let me think here. Probably 80 hours on a single miniature. Um, but like but that's for like a different philosophy. That's for like competitions or display or commission work. But for like tabletop, I want to get done in like 2-3 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Man, if I can paint a miniature in 30 minutes, I do like that. If I can paint a miniature in an hour or two, those are really great. So it all kind of depends on what I want out of the miniature. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little gray on his skin, and then I think I want a little green while we're waiting on this blue to dry. Whoops. I do have a mythical desk of treasures. Purple pants? Are we doing purple pants? Them is my dancing pants. So I'm going to let's use Bloodfest Crimson. I want it kind of dark. Actually, I want something a little punchier. I'm going to use violet. I'm going to use like a pure artist violet for this. Oxidized copper. I'd have to see a picture. Vec. I don't know how to say your full name. Purple hammer pants. Yeah, that's where we're going. We're going purple hammer pants. So we're gonna have a dark purple, but first I need a light purple, almost a pink, possibly, to lay down, like a fuchsia. I got paints everywhere. In fact, I'd have to see what exactly an image of the effect that you're wanting, like, because bronze is a color that has many different like variations, so it's just not that easy. If you're talking about verdigris, like I use a green and blue, almost a turquoise kind of color mixed together, to make a very thin color. David Coverdale from Whitesnake. That's what I'm about. Oh yeah. All right. So this is going to be the base for our purple hammer pants. This is my grabby brush that I use to pull paint out of pots. So this is literally the worst brush I own. That's not true. I have worse brushes. This is a pretty bad brush, but that's alright. I don't care. I'm just slapping some paints on here. So I'm letting this actually going kind of a little heavier. This Ebony Maw definitely knew Crockett and Tubbs. Orange pants, you're too late. That is quite the bang 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 on my floor that's coming through. Alright, that's dope. Alright, we're gonna lay that in the middle too. It is a big brush. It is a big brush, Fraser. Like, brush size doesn't matter to me. I just get in there and go. I'm just barely touching the miniature with the tip of the brush. I got a little teal on this element, but that's okay. We'll get rid of that later. Like I said, miniature painting is a fine art of correcting one's mistakes. I think the sleeves are definitely this color as well. I think we'll make these little elements. We'll make them something. Figure something out for them. Once again, I got a little messy, got a little teal on the place where I don't want the teal, but that's okay, I'll fix it. Real question on everybody's mind, what boot color will go with that toy girlfriend? I'm not sure I understand. What color boots are we putting on him? I don't know, black always works with these colors. Nice mauve, chartreuse, periwinkle. I don't care about the undersides of those arms. This guy definitely stole a high-speed boat one time in Miami. Sharpen that up just a bit. Alright, so now I want to put in that actual color on those pants. I want to darken that up in the shadow just a bit. So I'm going to take a little bit of like real violet, and it is just violet. This is very punchy. Might be too violet. I'm going to thin that down. Yeah. Just work a wash on that. I think just on the pants for this. I want to control that wash. I don't want it really piled up on the upper surfaces. So I'm going to pull some of that down back into the crevices. Like that. Nothing fancy there, just using a second damp brush to kind of pull the wash where I want it. Right, if it's kind of there on that top, you can kind of feather it down. Push that wash right back where it belongs. You know, you don't want it to get out of control. Maybe right there. Seeing a little mistake like that, you can make it go away with a damp brush. So do the same thing here. Just use that dark violet to kind of define our pink elements. Just carefully. Can you hear him sanding? Yeah, that's great. A little bit more paint on the brush. Just get in there. Just do these crinkly wrinkles on the arms. Just like so. So this is pretty punchy, which is right what we want with our challenge. Right? And the challenge, the idea of the challenges is just to kind of, you know, motivate people, give them something, maybe something new to try that you've never tried before. Because like that's a lot of what painting is just doing things you've never really tried before. And it also gives us an opportunity to kind of showcase and take a look at what you've been working on. It'll be a lot of fun. Oh, are we talking about things that are Hulk big? What are we talking about there? I'm picking another color while I'm reading it. What are we talking about that's Hulk big? Misfits Green? I like the name of that. Let's just grab a little bit of this out on the palette. Black Dwarf? Oh. Do y'all want to see a Black Dwarf and Hulk comparison? I can do that. Well, I get my green paint out. One person says yes and I automatically do it. So here we go. There's our Hulk compared to Maw. So you can see there. Let's go up just a little bit. There's our Hulk compared to Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw's floating and doesn't even quite compare in size to, and then there's our Black Dwarf, just completely overtaking up the screen there. This boy is broad. You can see how broad he is there. He's a monster. He's a monster. He's a monster. Alright, I'm going to take a little bit of this green and gray and I'm going to mix that into the shadows of the skin. Might be a little touch of purple that I accidentally grabbed there, but that's okay. A little purple. That's okay. I'm never sad about grabbing a little purple into my shadows. As a matter of fact, now I'm going to purposely do it. I'm going to grab a little more purple. And I'm just going to deepen my shadows. On his face and hands. This will give him that alien look that we want from our Ebony Maw hair. Really deepen in those eye sockets maybe. Kind of over focus on the maybe over focus in the eye sockets. Very quick, very rough. Nothing fancy. Just a wash, and I kind of control it there once again. So I'm a big fan of controlling my wash, right? I kind of slop it on at first, and then I use that second brush to kind of wick it away from the upper surfaces. Right, same thing on his hands. Got little rings on. Nice little tiny details. I love those little details like that. Little rings are fun. Has just like a little touch of color right there. Alright, let's darken up those blues. The blues are probably dried enough that we can, I think we can take a little bit of like a dark blue and some of that purple. Let's mix that together. Yeah. Thin that down, and we're going to wash that right into this teal. Now, what I've done is you can see that the paint's kind of pulled away, and you can see that light to dark. I'm going to focus just in that dark area. I don't want to slop this all over, so this is very precision. Not very precision, just a more precise wash. Almost like a pen wash, if you've ever heard of those. And I'm just tapping into like the deepest areas, just like so. So I'm not really painting all over. I'm actually going to lower this a little bit. I'll lower the camera as well. I don't know if we need to. Well, maybe we don't need to. And this will add some vibrancy and some more color to those blues. Right? So I don't want it there. So I'm going to just wipe that away. I want to keep it right where I want it. So I'm just controlling the wash. I'm just picking and choosing where I want this darkness added. There's no science. Well, there's no science here. Just kind of just painting where I feel like it. So I just controlled that wash. It's very easy. Maybe do a quick edge, like so. Kind of miss his collar, but that's okay. We're gonna take care of that now. Just like that. Just using the very tip of the brush, letting the paint flow off. The paint knows what job it's supposed to do. So I let it do its job. Let's just reinforce those shapes. He's got some cool designs on his back, so I want to make sure I get that. Control wash once again. Just pin that in right in that little line for that detail. Now we added some shadow to that blue, and that looks really good. Alright, I think you need some black elements. Fapendu, yeah, a little purple really brings that magenta together. Whoa, that's too much. Let's thin that down just a bit. I want like a nice, but yeah, that purple really brings that fuchsia pink together, makes it work. And then we're going to actually highlight this now as we move around and get some black elements on here. It's a little rough and ready, but I think he looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. Gamers Guild 24, when you're painting, what do you typically have as background noise? Oh, I am a music lover, and I play all kinds of music when I paint. Actually, to work in the studio, one of the interview questions is, are you okay with listening to Dallas's weird music all day? because that's just part of working in the studio. That was purple on accident. Yeah, it's not for, not everybody can, not everybody's the same. So you know, everybody paints the different things. I do like painting the movies as well. I have a list of what I call my paint movies. And it's just like the movies I love to have on in the background when I'm painting. As a matter of fact, like there's certain movies that um, it's funny. My kid can come out of her room and be like, "I knew you were painting because I knew what movie was on." So let's just do those as black. Yeah, I don't really like television shows because I feel like I'm going to miss something, right? With serialized conversation, I might miss something later. So I don't usually do television shows, but I do like movies I've seen several times. Things I don't really need to look up and witness. Let's lower this camera just a, oh my. Just a scooch. Is it better? Let's throw some highlights on here. So I like movies that I can like just kind of focus and, or not focus on, but just kind of, I know what's going to happen, and I get very excited when the scenes are coming up, and sometimes I say them out loud in between paint strokes and stuff like that. The music, I paint, I mean, I just have to have music on all day anyways. It's kind of the weird part about doing these streams from home is I have zero music playing right now, and I'm just talking to myself really. I mean, I'm talking to you guys, but there's no one around. So it's like a weird, I want a little bit more, a little darker than that actually. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Yeah, Blind Prophet, that's the neighbors. I said earlier, the neighbors moved out, so they're fixing up the apartment. Alright, so I'm going to just throw some highlights. This is basically the same color, just a little lighter. And that's not dry. So let's highlight his face. So I'm just going to use the base color, and I'm going to use a yellow white. Grabbed a little high key yellow and some just white from scale, and mix them together, and I mix them into the base coat, and I'm just going to put some little highlights. And I'm just going to pick some top edges to emphasize maybe the bridge of the nose, cheekbones, eyebrows, chin, and there's very little paint, and I'm just barely touching the tip of my brush, just to get some highlights on there. We can actually add a little more white and kick that up one more time. Way up here at like the high points. To really accentuate that menacing glare of Ebony Maw. I don't think this maw is very ebony. We might need to come up with a new name for this one. Fraser McCall says, this may need some metallic gold accents. Yes, neon yellow. Let's do metallic or neon yellow on these circles on his arms. I'll let you guys pick. The blue should be pretty dry, so let's highlight the blue. Once again, I just took that base color and I added a little bit of white. And I'm just going to pick some areas that I want to accentuate very quickly. Nothing too fancy. Fluorescent Maw. I like Fluorescent Maw. Fabulous Maw. That's great. Drain Smith is voting for yellow. Yeah, I can't listen to anything right now though. 12 Mall Square. I'll get in trouble on Twitch. Omnis, who sculpted this? Oh my gosh. Who sculpted Maw? I have to look at the credits. Is this Dave? Is this Kid? This was Kid, right? I think it was Dave Kid. He's gonna kill me for not remembering. I can't remember everybody immediately. This guy was sculpted forever ago. Little tiny highlights. My paint's a little thin, that's okay. I think I overwet my brush. That's okay. Just painting some more highlights. Whisk it away if there's too much. Blind Prophet 32, hey Dubs, do you dabble in oil paints at all? Yes, I do. Can we get a masterclass on Iron Man or possibly another armored machine creature with some weathering done? That would be kind of cool. It was Dave Kidd. Gail Gamon did Black Dwarf. Dave Kidd sculpted Ebony Maw. But yeah, we might do oil paint someday. I don't know. It's always a possibility. I do like playing with oil paints. They make for a lot of fun. So I'm just going to do some little specular highlights. So these are basically just little dots. Just right where I want the highlights to be the brightest. And lines. I'm not really just purely dotting. I'm just kind of putting in right where I want some tight highlights. Something like that. Maybe go to the back. Now see, I just like slap that on and I just use a brush and I wipe the edge away there. And I got like nice highlight across your shoulders. Very easy. I mean, it took like 2 seconds. Just little dots and specks and lines, right, to accentuate. And like it's very easy to accentuate because we already have some of those highlights from the primer built in, and doing the thin paints just made that even easier. So it just kind of builds in that where the highlights go very easily for me. I'm happy with that blue, honestly, right now. That's great. Maybe clean up just a little bit over here, whatever, something like that. Alright, onto the pink. That should be dry now. It's the same thing. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to pick some areas. And I'm going to use a lighter pink, and I'm just going to accentuate those. I'm not being mega precise right now. I'm not making super tight lines. Watch this. Very easy. Oh, that one didn't work, so just wipe it away. Let's try that again. Just a little subtle highlight. Just quick and dirty. Nothing fancy. Just picking and choosing where I want some highlights. Like that. I think he needs his hair painted. Hasselberg, Das, which paint range do you prefer to use? Mostly I'm transitioning from Vallejo model layer to scale 75. I think everything has a place and a purpose. I'm currently using Chimera in scale 75, but you know, it's all about what works for you. Oh, I said we're gonna paint the hair, and we got orange hair and frosted tips, +1 for frosted tips. Frosted tips, how do you frosted tips? Like dark with white? Doesn't really have spiky hair. Alright, we can try it. What the heck? Let's go orange into frosted tips. How's that? That sounds ridiculous. Doesn't really have it doesn't have a lot of tips to work with here, so a little more red on that, a little orange. I don't even know it's on my palette now, because I've just kind of, my wet palette's been in use for like a million projects, and now there's just paint all over it. So I'm just grabbing whatever color I see. So this is very thin. This is some oranges and reds mixed together. And I want to just edge right along the hairline there. We're going to darken this down, but I want that first thin layer there, where I can kind of see the details. Oh yeah, already looks delicious. Alright, we're going to wait for that to dry, and while we're doing that, we're going to darken up our blacks one more time around these detail elements on the elbow or shoulders. I don't know the difference between elbow and shoulders apparently anymore. I just want to tighten that up. And I made a mistake, but that's okay. I usually tip my miniature upside down when I do upper surfaces like this, but since he's on the paint scaffold here, it's a little more difficult to do. So we're just going to hope for the best. And it's my usual philosophy. Just hope for the best. And tighten up around the shoes. Just a scooch. Go ahead and grab some white. Bring that up. So a little highlight on these boots. So I'm actually going to blend this out just ever so slightly. Spin it around, do the same thing over here. And underneath. Alright, what do we say here? So let's darken up the hair. So for that, I want to, what is that color? Oh, it's close enough. No, that's not wrong. So I want darker red, almost add some purple in again, and some red mixed together. I want like a brownish purple. I'm just going to work this into some shadows. On the underside of everything. And the edge of his hair, right where the hair and the skin touches. You need to just barely touch right above that. You get that blend right into the hairline, just like that. Super easy. Now typically on orange hair, I would highlight with yellow or bring it up to just a higher orange. But since we're frosting the tips, I'm going to grab some whites and we're just going to go full bore. It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. A little tricky. I'm going to pull this like this. Can you still see? I don't want to go forward because the hair's combed back, and if he's got frosted tips, all that would be pulled back to the back. Maybe a couple of spots where like the hair's been pulled back, but it's not quite all pulled into the little ducktail. I think the bottom of this little bit of hair should be frosted. Yeah, something like that. How's he looking? Now his little hair's frosted back at the back. So to highlight the hair where it's not frosted, we're going to just pick a different color. Alright, what are we talking about here? Purples and silvers? Oh yeah. Painting glazes over metallics. Chick does that, I do that. It's a great little technique. As a matter of fact, I may be doing it next week. What? I don't know. Josh, can we talk about what I'm doing next week? I want a different color for his highlights of his actual hair. So I'm going to go back to that dark orange and highlight, bring in some color to that, some light color to that. I'm going to push it more to white instead of yellow. And the same thing, I'm just going to draw a couple of little lines. A little more white. just right here where the hair, right before it comes and touches the face, have some nice little lines. And then that one was egregious, a little excessive, and we'll blend that away with a damp brush. There, now we got a little contrast. Alright, what do we say here on the, what do we say on the shoulder pads? Did we say yellow or gold? I don't remember. So for his eyes, I'm going to paint them black first. Because I want a nice dark line for the eyes to work around. I think we're going to highlight that black one more time as well where we're at. Since I don't remember what we said, did we say yellow or gold on the shoulders? Neon yellow, neon yellow, neon yellow. Let's just use the tip of the brush, some little tiny highlights, our black elements. Neon yellow. Alright, yellow, yellow, yellow. So, yellow, typically when I paint yellow, it's like something like Black Dwarf Skin. This is actually yellow, like glazed over the white black Zenith primer. I don't know what the recipe for this is. This is literally just a bunch of colors just mashed together and bringing it together. Having a lot of fun and just playing with blending and wet blending and texture. But you don't want, even though you want like neon yellow, like this, I don't want to start there. I typically start with either a brown, if I want like a rich yellow, or I start with a white if I want a bright, bright yellow. So let's take that highly, what was that called again? Highly yellow and a little pure white. Let's mix those together. Let's paint these in the circles there. That's not perfect, but I don't want to sit there and work it because as the paint's drying, if I sit there and work it, you're going to get cloggy paint. Or if you watch certain baking shows, claggy. I don't think anybody would ever say that this Ebony Maw is a bit informal. It's very formal. You can wait for it to dry and then you go back and you finish it up. And very quickly have a nice solid base color to work from. I saw Simone in here freaking out about these colors. You may have to ship this one to Simone. Alright, and then while that dries, I'm going to pull out this, I'm going to use Marduk Yellow. And I'm going to paint that entire globe Marduk yellow. Oh, let's cool it on that glob. It has a huge glob of paint. It's a bright, bright yellow. So the brighter the yellow, the less shadow and the deeper shadow we want on this. So I want to make this contrast stand out. I want just a little bit of shadow on it, and then I'm actually going to highlight the heck out of it. But that bright yellow, that's what I want to start with, just something like that. I'm going to take a drink while that dries. So what are we thinking so far, everybody? It's very bright, it's very punchy, it's got a lot of saturations. That pink is very, very vibrant. And the blues are really punchy too. Oh, is that, can we get that sharper? There we go. He's feeling pretty good. So I want a orange. Let's see here. A Herret red, maybe? Let's see what that looks like. Let's take a little bit of this. I don't even know if this is the right color. We'll find out here in a second, won't we? No, let's add a little yellow to that. There we go. And we're going to keep that down pretty thin. And I just barely want to put that in the bottom. And I'm going to control that. I just want a little bit of shadow on the underside. That's a circle, that's a dome. So light's going to catch on the top, not the bottom. I'm just going to use that second brush to kind of make sure it stays down low. Just put a little bit of that orange in there, just to give it that shape. Then I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to take very, very white and a touch of yellow, mix together, and we can get away with just a couple of little dots here. Right on the top. And when you're painting things like gems, hint, hint, you can kind of do the same philosophy. Your gem is a dome, and the light comes in from the top, or wherever you want to, but let's say the light comes in from the top and goes out the bottom. What happens is the light actually gets trapped and goes back. So that's why the shadow is at the bottom, but also you have a little tiny dot of bright light at the bottom, and you have a middle section of color, a highlight, and then you have an extreme highlight. So the more that you get, the more of those you do, the more glassy things look. So let's pretend that this is actually glassy. I'm going to put the tiniest dot on the bottom to represent light is like come through and is exiting the bottom here. And I'm going to do the same thing on top. I'm going to take pure white and a smaller dot than our previous highlight, and I'm going to put that in there to represent that light entering the top. And that gives it more of a glassy feel. Thanos is not being painted next week, unconfirmed. And honestly, I think that's oh, we still got his rings. Silver, gold. Gold! He's definitely wearing gold rings, absolutely. So let's grab Elven Gold from Scale Color. Put a little drop of that out. Oh. Or a big drop of that out. Whatevs. Agent Orange, I agree. That Thanos is pretty spectacular. Let's do these black first. Let's do this right. That's my computer dangling. I want to paint the rings gold or black first. Because it's a contrast between it and the gold and the fingers. Especially if I leave a little bit of black showing where they touch the finger. And we can just use our Elven Gold. There we go. Now we got this terrain left, and that was it. I think that's it. What do y'all think? Anything I missed? We can paint his eyes. I think that black paint dried. Now for these evil guys, and then like some heroes even, there's like the nice superhero white dot eyes. It also, it's also super easy because you just paint black. And you just paint the centers white. And that's it. Easy. So now we gotta do is paint the base, and we have a pretty retroistic. This guy listens to synthwave all day. Ebony Maw, and once again, punchy colors. That's the challenge for Instagram. So don't forget to hashtag painting protocol. If you want to paint something up new, paint a new miniature up in bright, punchy, super saturated colors, or if you already have something, put it up on Instagram. It's our Crisis Protocol Painting Challenge. We're going to be doing this. Josh, can you confirm? Whoops. Well, there's that. So there's our Instagram account, atomic_mass_transmissions, to be putting that up. Josh, can you confirm how often that is? How often that is? Is it every 2 weeks or every month? I can't remember. Josh is going to say something here in a minute. Josh is going to say something here in a minute. We haven't said. Okay, we haven't. So anyways, the first one is punchy, what did I say earlier? Punchy, vibrant colors. So show us what you got. Show us your paint job. Show us your super bright, saturated colors. Put them up on Instagram with the hashtag painting protocol. We're going to take a look at them. We're going to feature them and all that kind of stuff. So I've already shown the information, but I'm going to show it again. Remember to like us, check us out, follow us, share us on all of our social media platforms. Atomic Mass Transmissions on Instagram, Twitter. Don't forget to check out our homepage every now and then, and for all the latest news, information, announcements. Schick next week on Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be painting the new Agent Widow, I believe, correct? And next week, I'm going to go ahead and say I'll be painting up Black Dwarf for everybody. So we can talk about yellow skin, if we want to go with the yellow skin. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just, you vote. Tell me on Instagram and Twitter what you want to see. Do you want to see yellow skin? And then we can do the cool metallic metal, like if you saw the one I posted on social medias, we can do a metal color with like a cool glaze, and I can teach everybody how to do that. So check us out on Thursday for that one, and Tuesday for the Schick painting the Agent Widow live from his home studio. So until next week, remember, stay safe, be responsible, and keep painting, have fun, and challenge issued. We gotta have a better catchphrase than that. Hashtag painting protocol. Bye guys, see you later.